Hi, everyone. Earlier this week, I received a copy of a communication from a university dean who asked his faculty university-wide to report any student who didn't show up to class at all during the semester to his office so that the university could take necessary steps to discipline the student. Now, I found the rationale for the request to be somewhat amusing, as the dean argued that the university was actually concerned about the well-being of all of its students, and as he said, showing up makes a difference. As I thought about it for a moment or two, I realized that showing up apparently makes a big difference quite a bit at the beginning of Parashas Savo. For at the beginning of our Parsha, we read of the farmers in the fields who yearly would bring their first fruits to Yerushalayim. As often it was a journey, people from similar areas of Israel would bring their fruits all together. And as they got close to Yerushalayim, the entire city of Yerushalayim, including the experts who were working on skilled labors, would stop to greet the farmers who brought their bikurim. That's right. Showing up was so important that would bring the city to a standstill, literally standing still. Which begs the question, why? Showing up plays a continued role in this particular mitzvah. You see, if coming at the proper time, the farmer who brought his bikurim would be able to recite the section of Mikra Bikurim, which also is coincidentally the backbone of the Pesach Haggadah. In that section, performing that mitzvah, the person recites the history of the Jewish people, beginning with the challenges from Lavan and Yaakov bringing his family to Mitzrayim, right up until the moment that the farmer stands in the Beis Hamikdash. In other words, our farmer explains in detail why he showed up. And along the way, he highlights that even in Mitzrayim, our forefathers showed up. The father declares, Vayisham Lagoy, that we became a nation there by showing up. The author of the Haggadah cites the Medrash, which adds, Vayisham Lagoy, they became a nation there, Melamed Shahayu B'nei Yisrael Mitzuyanim Sham. We know that the Jewish people at the time that they were in the land of Egypt were quite distinguished. How? So Pirkei de Rebbe Eliezer explains that while they were in Mitzrayim, the people didn't change their clothing, their names, or their language. It sounds like they frankly just showed up. And yet, the same distinguishing factors mark the reasons that the people merited leaving Mitzrayim, that they didn't change their names, their clothes, or their language. And it begs us to ask the question once again, for a nation that needed to be chased out of Egypt so quickly, because they were so tremendously close to that 50th and final lowest level of Tumah, from which even they would not be able to ever merit freedom, to be able to get the necessary credit by simply being distinguished, or literally showing up with distinction, Mitsuyanim, seems a little bit much to accept. Why would showing up as a Jew be enough to save the people? And why does the farmer highlight showing up when at the moment of the Bikurim he's doing a mitzvah? Showing up? That's nothing. He's doing so much more. I recall a story the late great Reb Zvulun Charlap Zatzal shared with us. The year was 1973. Reb Charlap was speaking with his father, the late Reb Yechiel Michal Charlap, and they were discussing why it is that the item that's chosen to adorn the Mizbeach on Sukkos was the Arava. Rabbi Charlap reminded us that the Arava is one of the four species that has neither a pleasant taste nor a pleasant smell. And the Medrash notes, the Arava represents those Jews who do not study Torah nor engage in ongoing mitzvah activities. So why would the Chazal tell us that we're supposed to put these next to the Mizbeach? Why not esrog bows or palm fronds from the lulav? What exactly is there about the Aravos? Why the Aravos? And so Rabbi Charlap told us his father, Rabbi Yechiel Michal, explained that after the Yom Kippur War and his awareness of the casualties, who came in large numbers from those for whom Torah study and mitzvah observance are not always a major priority, and yet they gave their lives as korbanot and died al Kedushat Hashem, he now understood. Rabbi Charlap, Rabbi Zvulun, that is, added that when we recognize that they gave up their lives for us, that they connected to us and our story, there's nothing more close to the Mizbeach than the Holy Arava. It's there to show Hashem that even the Arava is a Korban Kadosh to Hashem on behalf of the people. In that regard, the late great Rabbi Mordechai Ezrachi noted that there's a difference between our distinction as an Am Kadosh in action, or what Rav Ezrachi calls Maaseh, and also in essence, which Rav Ezrachi called Mahus. You see, according to Rabbi Mordechai Zatzal, it's true that whatever made us a distinct nation is the fact that in every step of our holy lives, we dedicate what we do, whether we call it Kodesh or Chol, holy or secular. Our job and what we do is to find Kedusha in it. To us, what might seem to somebody else to be secular is in fact Kadosh. Now, obviously, whether we're praying or engaging in chesed, we're obviously acting in a whole godly way. However, the actions of the Bikurim are the crowning achievement of the farmer's year. You see, during those moments, the farmer demonstrates that the entire farming experience, the entire Maaseh, was one of mitzvah. He declares, that is our farmer, that his whole raison d'etre, his whole purpose of existence, was to perform the mitzvos of Hashem and to find meaningfulness and godliness in that purpose of mitzvah. And hence he tells this whole story, because his reason for being there in that moment was to perform acts of Hashem, just like his forefathers did before it. And the people of Yerushalayim stand out of respect for him in that moment, because he knows what he did is what he was supposed to do. And he now also knows why. And now he's here to do it. And the people rise for his Maaseh HaMitzvah. However, Baruch Mordechai explains, before one can perform actions of mitzvah, he or she needs to find meaning in being Jewish in essence. There's a fundamental connection in being on the team even before you're allowed to play. And there's a purpose in the future when you show up markedly as a Jew, whether you know when being one you are supposed to do. That is to say, before you know what a Jew is supposed to do, just knowing that you're a Jew makes a difference. And when we know that we show up as different and more importantly as distinguished, we are mitzuyanim, because we're always getting mitzuyan. And that happens because wherever we are, we make sure to stand out. If even in the depths of depravity, be it the stench of Egypt or the filth of college campuses, or when our distinguished chayalim wear their proud madim, they know one thing first, that they represent Am Yisrael and that they show up because of it. A few months ago, Rabbi Yosef Tzvi Rimon Shlita was asked a shaila from a group of soldiers who had a makeshift shul and a Sefer Torah in their small camp in Gaza. In order to make sure that the soldiers who were on guard duty would be able to hear the Kriyas HaTorah, the laning of the Torah had to be brought to the end of the camp where they were stationed. The question had come up as to whether this was acceptable or not. And citing the example of the Torah being brought to the king and the Kohen Gadol, Rav Rimon noted that the rule of not bringing the Torah to the people and having them go to the Torah instead was waived in the case of the Adam Gadol, the great man. Rav Rimon added that to him, Rav Rimon that is, when we consider an Israeli soldier, no matter who he is, who shows up and risks his life for Am Yisrael, no matter who they may be, is the greatest Adam Gadol that can be. Yes, said Rav Rimon, we can most certainly bring the Torah to him. Yes, my dear friends, we must rise and continue to support our Chayalim, and really anyone who champions his or her Jewish identity. We need to and can offer our encouragement and our support and display our respect for anyone who distinguishes himself or herself as a member of Am Yisrael and generates strength similar to that which has powered previous generations. The Chayal, the student, the Mekadishem Shamayim, they all deserve our recognition and our rising and our encouragement to keep on moving from Mahus, from essence, to finally Maaseh. We've observed anything in the last year, we've seen that the positive showing up has been the best indicator of people reaching to go do more. So yes, showing up makes a difference, not only to the one who shows, but to the others who join in the encouragement. And if we continue to support one another, we'll be able to turn things in a different direction rewriting that comment of Yeshayahu, Ishes Re'eu Yazoru, each and every one of us will help one another. Ula Achiv Yomar Chazak, and to our brethren will say, be strong. Chazak v'nis chazek. We will encourage them to be strong, and we will be strengthened within the process. No one will be able to stand in our way. Wishing you and yours a Shabbat Shalom, and a Shabbat Shalom to all.